So today we're going to ask the question, what the actual bleh does pushing actually mean? Pushing can come from a few different things. You can have too much air, you can have tension here, and you can have a bad vowel. Kind of sounds a little fundamental, but those are the problems, and so let's go over those one by one. So too much breath can be the result of torso tension. It could be the result of too big an inhale, or both. So how do we fix torso tension? Well, luckily we have some B-roll, high B-roll. So I'm going to show you a couple stretches. Let's start with this one. It's called the twist. So the twist always helps if you have some sort of elevated thingamabob like a bed, but it's not strictly necessary. It just helps. I'm going to put my knee over the bed, my hip is up 90 degrees, and I'm just laying down and relaxing. This is going to stretch all the way from the glute up to the chest, the back, the shoulders, and even the trap. And I'm just going to look the opposite direction. Boom! And that's the twist. You relax on that one for just about 5 minutes. So the question becomes, why does that help? Well, I'll do a little demonstration. So if I'm taking an inhale and I want to sing, but my torso is tight, I might as well be doing this. Huh. Boy, that's a little difficult, even for a metaphor. Much easier. But one of the things we're talking about is we're talking about pushing air, right? So if I have this thingamabob here, and I want to have less air, but I have torso tension, that kind of speeds up the process a little bit, doesn't it? So that's one of the reasons you could be pushing. But let's also talk about the other things I mentioned. So vowels, what are they? How do they affect your singing? Let's talk about vowels. They're great. But vowels are a thing that... So vowels are a thing that if they're not going well for you, they will absolutely be a factor in you pushing your voice. So vowels are E, A, A, O, U, and otherwise. The opposite of consonants, if you will, right? And the reason why vowels are important is because they have a symbiotic relationship with air. If your vowels are bad, it doesn't matter how good your air is, and vice versa. So how do we have good vowels? Well, we need, the tongue is pretty much entirely responsible for vowels, and lag. We're getting lag. I think that fixed the issue. Anyway, so the tongue, entirely responsible for vowels. The trick to having your tongue not be tight is to keep it in motion with some exercise. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that would be an exercise. Another way to prevent your tongue from getting tight is to just fart. Let me explain. It seemed rather aggressive, but the point is that when the tongue is in motion, it is not tight, right? So those are two exercises you can do to keep the tongue in motion when you're singing. That's one part of having good vowels, but there's more to it. The heel of the tongue is also very key. So let's say this is your tongue, okay? And this back wall where my hand is disappearing is part of your throat, okay? So if the sound comes from this little portion where my finger is moving, yeah, well, finger motion. Yeah, I'm gonna get this eventually. This is gonna work out. There we go. All right. So yeah, finger motion right here, right? So this is where the sound comes out. So if your tongue is forward, oh boy, I'm a sound. This is sound. I have so much room to move. Freedom! Oh no, my tongue's back. Where'd the sound go? It's gone. Disappeared. It no longer exists. Do me a favor and don't kill your sound. So sound is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly important to free up. It has a lot to do with the back pressure. The air carries sound, right? So the way that sound works is that little waves create different differential pressure levels in the air. We don't have to get into physics. We can just say that air carries sound. If your tongue goes, you're blocking the pressure, all right, that is going to carry that sound, and it's just going to go right back down. Let's do another balloon example. All right, so let's say this is my tongue, right? Okay, it's out of the way. Cool, we're getting good sound, all right? Bad vowel time. Bad vowel time. Oh no, why is my singing so hard? Ah, why is it so hard? Why is it so hard? So yeah, get that tongue forward, get it loose, okay? And that's vowels. Real simple. I know we talked about the idea, but I guess one of the ways to observe when you're practicing is if the tip of the tongue is on the front of the teeth, and then you got if it's, so there's two ways it can bunch up, right? You can have it backwards like that. Oh boy, my tongue is backward and it's so no doing that, but then there's also the fact that it can bunch up kind of sideways. So notice how it's kind of super wide, touching the molars. You can kind of like, if you do an NG, and you can feel it up there, and you can kind of feel the width. And if you can't, spend some time just like making NG sounds and understanding what that is. The body is the instrument, right? Spend time paying attention to your body. You don't always have to be making sound to practice. Boom, pro tip. One of the other common factors in pushing is that this little thing right here can get tight, the throat. So how do you know you have a tight throat, and how do you fix having a tight throat? Good question. Me. Having a tight throat is not necessarily a bad thing. It's entirely stylistically dependent. But the tighter the throat, the less air you're going to be able to use, and the less volume in general that you will be able to produce. Not a consideration for genres that have a microphone, but just so you know. So there are little pieces of cartilage right here, and oh my god, my headphones are vanishing. Crazy, I'm a magician. Anyway, all right, so these things right here, these little pieces of cartilage, they can come together, or they can go apart, or they can kind of be neutral. So let's hear what that sounds like. Ah, this is when they're very far apart, and I sound like He-Man. It's very good for opera, and maybe other things that I don't know about. But it's loud, and it's big, and it's wide, and I sound like a douche. And this is very much neutral, and this is for musical theater for pretty much most genres, but then there's rock and roll. And in rock, these little cartilages go very, yeah, oh yeah, I'm a rock singer. Yeah, no. I don't do rock, but that's the sound, right? At least that part of it, not the That's weird. So if you're doing that tight thing right in there, that's going to be a sign that you need way less air. Okay, so one of the ways to take less air is just like think of breathing only in your chest. That's not a perfect way to describe it and could lead to problems. So, you know, if that doesn't work for you, great, but try it. Maybe it works for you. So anyway, that's some of the things you can do to stop pushing your voice. Now, these are really, really general things that we've discussed. They might help you. Go ahead and try them. But if you get stuck, I make myself available for private messages all during COVID. Send me a DM. I will answer your questions. Actually, this is a question that someone else had, and I'm making a video specifically for them without naming them or using their recording. Pretty cool. So you should check out the description below on my social medias and hit me up. Talk to me. I'm here to help. No charge, by the way. I should probably add that because people are weird. Yeah, just send me questions. I enjoy doing this because right now it's all the singing I'm doing. It's helping people. So, boom. This description. You click a button, you do the thing. Good day. Have a happy singing. Yeah, stop pushing your voice, folks.